Okay, in this video, I want to talk to you about how to kind of manage your day-to-day operations and how you really should structure your mindset for your monthly sales. So here's how things are going to kind of work in this business. Sometimes we're going to have some amazing days where the phones are going to ring off the hook and you're just going to get tons of business. And then some days it feels like you could post 100 ads and do all the right things, and just nobody calls you. I mean, this happens to even the best phone flippers. You know, even the months where I've done 30, 40,000, there's been days where you just don't get the calls, and that's okay. So what I want you to do is anticipate for that and understand like how this is important. So I'll break down a couple of different scenarios. I know everybody is in a different point in their life. Some of you guys are working a full-time job. Some of you guys are doing this as a full-time business. Some of you guys have a decent amount of money to start with. Some of you guys don't have a lot of money. So everybody's strategy is going to be a little bit different, but I'll give you some examples depending on what situation you're in, okay? So first off, going back to what I call the faucet is like when the faucet turns on, you want to have your bucket ready. Picture like if the faucet was pouring out money instead of water. You want to have your bucket there to collect all the money, and that's people selling you their phones, right? But sometimes that faucet is going to shut off, and you want to be ready with your bucket. So as soon as that faucet turns on, you could be right there collecting your money. But for example, if you just take a day off or you don't answer the phone one day, that could be one of your busiest days in business, but you missed out. So I want to show you, like, here's my eBay sales, and I did about 18,000 for the month. This week was kind of slow. We only had about $4,000 of stuff to list this week. But last week, if you look, we had, this is actually about 2 weeks ago, was one of our busiest. I listed about $5,000 or $6,000 worth of stuff that week. It was a little busier than the other week. So imagine, let's say if it was one of those days where I missed the day to buy the phones when they were all coming in. Think about what that would mean at the end of the month. I could be going from 18,000 almost down to 14 or 15,000 if I miss that one day. There's been some times where, I won't get any phones for 3 days, and then just in one day, I'll buy 15 phones. And it's weird how that happens. Now, that's not average. Normally, it is somewhat spread out, but you usually get 2 or 3 days of the week where all the business comes in. So the reason I'm telling you this is to try to capture those days as best as possible. Now, I know that isn't 100% doable for people here that have a full-time job and you work on a lot of hours, but that's okay. You're not going to lose out. I'm going to tell you some things to do. So if you have a full-time job, here's what I recommend. First of all, have a professional voicemail box. When they call you, you don't want them to hear, "Hey, what's up? This is Dave. Leave a message." You want to hear something that's professional, friendly, and welcoming, so they want to sell you something. So something like, "Hello, thank you for calling Dave. I buy phones. Thank you for calling. If you're calling about one of my ads to purchase phones, I am unable to take your call right now, but I am definitely happy to get your business and be more than likely to buy your phone from you. So if you could please leave your name, number, and a good time to call you back, I would be happy to call you with an offer and look forward to purchasing your phone and doing business with you." Something very polite and professional like that is really going to help you capture those customers that you miss if you can't take the calls. And what I also recommend is if you get on your phone here, you can get an autoresponder where you can actually set it up. I have an Android phone. I have a Galaxy S8 at the time of shooting this video. But there's a thing called Auto SMS, an app on this that when somebody calls and misses the calls, the phone will send out a text message to that person, and I can actually write the text message. So I'll have something that says, "Hi, this is Dave. Thanks for calling. My hours of buying are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday," or whatever hours I want to work, or whatever hours you can work. Maybe your hours would be 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's okay, whatever they are. You put that in the text. And thank you. I greatly appreciate your call. I'm at work now, but I will be happy to call you back later on, or I have a break. I like to try and return phone calls within a half hour. Whatever you want to do that's going to make that person feel better about calling you back so that you don't lose the deal. A lot of these people do want to get fast cash for their phones, and they want to do it as soon as possible. So you want to let them know that you are eager to purchase and you're a real business. You're there to buy their stuff, all right? So the other thing is I want you to look at this from a monthly sales standpoint. Some weeks are going to be slower than others. There's some weeks where I'm going to get $10,000 worth of phones, and the next week it's going to be slow and only 3,000. So what happens is sometimes my students, they'll get discouraged on those slow weeks. And every business is like this. No matter what business you're in, there's just going to be the ebbs and flows of finances. And sometimes those $10,000 weeks, you don't want to go out and, buy $100 bottles of champagne or go out and go to fancy restaurants and eat or whatever and just spend your money, because next week might not be as busy. You don't know that. So I recommend try to save your money as much as you can. So that way, once you get to a reserve and you have, good 10, 15,000 in the bank or whatever your financial goal is, then you can maybe splurge a little bit on those nice weeks. But until then, maybe just keep banking that money and know that, well, wait a minute, this week was really good, but maybe next week will be a little slower. So let me not spend all this money just in case. And then once you can predict accurately where you're going to be, you could be a little bit lenient with that and, have some fun. Of course, this isn't, something where you have to be this disciplined forever. You're doing this so you can build a nice financial freedom for yourself, a nice nest egg, and maybe even move on to another business in the future, whatever you want to do. Okay. But you want to get there first. You want to have that nice cushion in your bank account before you have that freedom to do that. So I hope this helps you as far as managing your day-to-day life and giving you some tips and strategies to make as much money as possible, no matter what situation you're in. And one last thing is, another great thing is to try to manage your time. So if you're at work, try to line up people so that they all meet you at once. This will, instead of driving to all different places when you get out of work, and that's going to take your time, see if you can negotiate and getting them to meet. We'll talk more about this in the negotiation. Don't worry. I hope I'm not overwhelming you right now, because I know this is just the first part of the course. We'll get into all this stuff in just a little while. But you can also see if you can line those people up all at once. So anyways, that's some business mindset for you and some management. And we're going to get into teaching you stuff in the course pretty soon.